Turns out you don't have to look among like famous or mainstream publishers to find yourself a like decent or interesting crowdfunded board game.
Yes, we've searched the internet and picked up a few games, few titles for you to check out, which will be released very, very soon, or even right now.
Okay, my name is Mieszko,
I'm Mateusz.
and this is Czyja Teraz Tura.
Yeah, that's CTT for you.
First of all, we have to mention that we're going to talk about the games that have a solo mode because like this is our main focus right now, right?
Yep, that's what we do here on the channel. We play and teach mainly solo board games, and we found some of them on both Gamefound and Kickstarter that are not available yet, but will be soon available for you to crowdfund. And we think that these 4 titles are especially worth your attention. The first one,
Like very interesting.
yeah, the first one we're gonna talk about is Sky Empire by Greymarsh Games, which is gonna be funded on Gamefound very, very soon. The campaign
Like
starts
any day.
on the campaign starts
3rd
on
March?
March the 3rd, right? And I've had a chance to play this game, which is a Forex style game that is big and grandiose with many, many miniatures and takes some time to play, but it's not as long as you're usually used to in the 4X.
Remind me, is it the one with the cute little zeppelins you had like miniatures?
Yeah, of course, there are miniatures because it's a huge Gamefound game. Yeah, there are miniatures for both your characters, which you use during the first phases of the game when you use the worker placement mechanics. And of course, there are minis for your buildings and for your airships that you use on the huge hexagonal tiles, which compose into a map where you fight against other players.
Ah, okay. And theme is like cosmos, civilization. What is it exactly?
That's where the game differs from what you expect from this style of game. This one takes place in a steampunk world that is inhabited by frog-like people called Dopplers, and each of the players controls their own faction that is trying to prove to be the best in defending their own planet against some evil sentinels that attack them. The another thing that is different in this game is that players do not race for points. We do not have the settled amount of time to win.
Okay,
the game.
I'm gonna stop you right now.
Okay.
I'm gonna stop you right now. If you don't have any points, how do you know who wins?
Yeah, that's the interesting part. The first one to complete all 4 objectives, and there are 4 objectives provided you by the game. Each one of them corresponds to a different X from the X 4 X's.
Okay.
And the first one to complete all of those objectives is declared the winner and wins. So we do all the things that you do normally in the 4X game. So we expand, we explore, we exploit, and of course we exterminate. And we fight both other players and the neutral sentinels which are trying to destroy the planet.
Okay. And like it's always you have like the 3rd virtual player or like 4th?
Yeah, there's always a 3rd or 4th or 5th. there's always this this NPC faction that is being an opponent for everyone. Plus you have to race and fight another players to win the game.
And I suppose it's the same like in the solo. You have the same, maybe not the same, but similar automa for like solo playing.
Yeah, there's actually no automa to control other faction. in the version that I got to play, you just fight against these NPCs, and you're trying to win as quickly as possible for you. This is a great way to learn the game and to practice each faction, because the many factions that are in the box are very asymmetrical, and this is the way to get used to them. I've heard that the author is planning to do an alternative solo mode, so there will be 2 solo modes for you in the game, which will include an automa to control another faction, and then you will be fighting the automa and the sentinels.
Okay, I've seen the pictures. I've seen your gameplay. The game seems promising.
Yeah, it looks very grandiose. It looks big, and it's actually astonishing how much Preben, the author, has managed to put into the game, especially when you know that this is his first project. Game looks great on the table, and plays really good. It will be on Gamefound on March the 3rd, and the campaign will be linked down below.
Okay, since we've talked about the game that you have played, let's talk about something we played, both of us.
Yeah, Dusk Runners by Dragonmouth Press is a cooperative game, which we played both. We had access to the TTS mode, and we've tried it online, and it actually looks really promising.
Yeah, it's some sort of a dungeon crawler, or what was the name? Roguelike game where you...
Yeah, that's what Dragonmouth Press uses in the blurb. They call it a roguelike game. I don't know. We've only had access to the tutorial mode, and I know that it was that it ended with 3 separate paths that we could progress into. So it looks like a campaign. Maybe it will be multi-replayable campaign. That we will have to find out. But well, we can talk about what we've seen. I've seen that it's a deck building game, and
I called it dungeon crawler, but it is mainly deck building game. It's about managing your deck and the cards you have in your virtual hand.
Yeah, so it's a mix, right? Because there is a map, which is normal physical map built on the table, and each player has his own deck of cards, and we add cards during the game to our decks, right?
Yeah, every the map is built on a special plastic, I don't know what's the name for it. Is pedestals,
the trays.
Yeah,
these are special trays for each tile that composes the map, and the trays are jigsaw puzzles, and they fit into each other, and you place tiles on them, and they have
a little slot,
a separate compartment to a slot to put a card into. These cards are some events or things that you can find on each location, and this looks really good. Well, it looked really good on the monitor. I'm pretty sure it will look great on the table too.
Yeah, we've seen cards being put under the under other cards or other tiles. They managed to create some sort of a plaque. You have a tile on the top of it, and the card inside the thingy thing, whatever it's called.
The slot. And what's most important for me is that the whole plastic array keeps the tiles in place. So when you pick a card from under it, you don't have to worry that your miniature will fall out or something like this. Yeah, because not only there are cards and there are tiles, there are of course miniatures, there are dice and cubes, because it's a dungeon crawler.
Yeah, exactly.
You walk from location to location, you meet some monsters, and you have to pass tests.
Yeah, exactly. And the tests in this game are made in a very, I would say, weird way, because you don't have any cards on your hand. You don't know what cards you can play. You can only guess what cards will come from your deck. You can always check your deck, like what's inside, and then you make a decision after shuffling. Once you've seen what's inside, you shuffle it, and then you make a decision how much cards you want to play from the deck, which is very important because you're looking for certain symbols, and you don't get all of them like on every card. That's one. And second is, if the deck ends, the game kicks you hard. Maybe not hard, but it's going to get messy.
That's to prevent you. That's to prevent you from drawing all the cards and seeing all the icons that are needed for the specific test. That's the balancing thing. Well, interesting thing is that the cards are actually multi-use because there are icons on each card, and you can, once the card gets played into your play area, which happens from time to time through various tests or other effects, you can use the effects of the cards that are written as text on them. Plus, you could use some specific icons that are already in your play area to buff your future tests. So there was quite a lot of decisions in the tests phase of the game, in the tests part of the game, which was really interesting, and it kind of reminded me of Arkham Horror, the card game. Because when you were passing tests, you had to look for specific icons that are required for this specific test. The only difference is that you don't have a hand of cards; you have your deck, which are you pulling from, actually random.
Yeah, and you may have to make a decision like before you know the test, before you know the deck, not when you know the cards you have.
There's the randomness in the game, right? You don't have to rely on drawing a token from a bag and then trying to pass the test, which before you didn't know how hard would be. Now, in this game, in Dusk Runners, you know how hard the test will be, but you're not really sure how good you are at making this test.
You can, of course, make your deck better, like have like more powerful cards or more icons on your cards when you get the cards from underneath the locations. You can always go there to different locations, reveal the card what's underneath, and maybe pass some little test to acquire it to your play area, right? And that's how you build your deck.
Yes, of course. And this card becomes your card because some effects make you discard those cards and shuffle them back into your deck, and then it will get much trickier to play them again into your played area.
Okay. Sounds promising. Plus, at the end, we had like 3 ways out of the game. We could end the game in three different ways.
There were 3 possible outcomes of the tutorial, which probably leads into a bigger scenario, or maybe even full-fledged campaign. So this looks really promising, and to be honest, the art is also quite good. It's actually really good. I like the art very much.
Yeah, it's like the game is about like living in the night, because like the nights are very long after some cataclysm or so, and we're like Dusk Runners. We go out outside to search for like artifacts or something, and they're like monsters, and all the graphics, all the drawings are like within that climate.
The campaign for Dusk Runners starts at March the 17th, and it will be on Gamefound. You can find the link down below and even somewhere up there above Mieszko.
Yeah, definitely we're going to check it, so I think you should also. It's like very interesting game.
The next project we're going to talk about is a title that is familiar to me, because this is Heroes of the Shire, but this is a new implementation of the game with a subtitle Light and Shadow, and you played that one, right?
Yes, it was the game that I actually played. I got myself a prototype, which is like behind me, and played for like last few days about the game. This is like a standalone adventure, but there are like 2 other games, previous iterations of the games, and this is fully cooperational with the former ones, but not the other way around. You can play with this game in the old games, but you can't play the old games with this one because there are like some few differences which like makes it impossible.
Okay, so this one expands and adds something to the mechanics, right? So they are not fully compatible. with each
Not
other.
fully compatible. I say 70-80% of the game is not the same because like we have new heroes, we have new skills, new spells. Each box contains like several heroes. Each of them is very unique and completely different. So we have 7 new ones, completely different. What differs this game from the other ones is the tactical maps, which is something new. And those maps actually remind me of JRPGs from like late 80s, early 90s. I don't know if you played, I don't know, Nintendo or PSP at the time.
Yeah, so like
Final Fantasy,
Final Fantasy or Pokemon games.
Chrono Trigger, that stuff. You walk around the map, you draw the cards for the events, and if like something jumps out for some monster or like you just trash the mob, and you move from the macro scale, from like the tiles of the from the map of the world, into the micro world where you open the book with the tactical maps, and you have hexes, you have like standees you put on those hexes, and you start to play the more tactical game than just simply playing some skills.
Okay, so Heroes of the Shire, the 2 previous iterations of it, were had the world map, and you were moving through the world map, but all the fights were just you. When you found or met a monster, you encountered it and just fought it, and you've had your skills, your stats, and your abilities, and you were using them one by one by each player and the monster. And now it has the Light and Shadow has added a full tactical map where you can move around the map, right? And your opponents also do. So there are more variables, and well, the fights and the surroundings of the fights are more different, right?
Actually, the game has 2 modes. One is arena mode,
Okay.
which is like PvP, when you take the playboard of your mage or whatever you have, your friend takes different one, and you like start fighting one another. And this is how the game looked before. You were walking on a map, and when you met the monster, you just use your character or whatever you have with his friends and started playing like PvP, but with the board. Now it's different. Now you have tactical maps. Now the position on the map where you are is important. It was important back then because there was no tactical maps at all. But now it's very important where you actually stand. How far are you from the certain monsters or other players? It influences what you can do. How strong will you hit? It like gets more and more tactical. Plus, each character is like completely different, so like the different maps works better for different characters.
Okay, perfect. Sounds really interesting. And I've heard that this one has a solo mode, which was available previously, but as an add-on, as a separate product that you had to add to your game. And now this one, the solo mode will be included in the Light and Shadow, so you'll be able to play it by yourself without me once again. Yeah.
Maybe we meet like in 2 days, so maybe you can have a shot with it. A very cool game, a very cool mechanics, resembles JRPGs. I don't know if it was the other year, but like that's how it looks. It resembles like Final Fantasy a lot, like really a lot. You have skills. You can play only once every like 5 or 6 turns, maybe.
Okay, with cooldowns and stuff like that.
Yeah, with cooldowns, you put a dice because like there's a lot of dice inside the box. You usually do not roll them. You just put them as a counter, and every turn you just count it down. And once it goes to 0, your skill is available all again. So it's like you're fighting in Final Fantasy or Pokemon, and they have like this stamina bar, and once it reaches 0 or like bumps up to something, then you can reuse your skill. And this is the same here.
Yeah, sounds really interesting. Well, The game will be crowdfunded on Gamefound. The campaign starts on March the 3rd, and well, we'll link it down below. So go and check it out. I will definitely.
We've talked about the game that you played. We've talked about the game that both of us played together. We've talked about the game that I played.
Yeah. So now let's talk about the game that none of us has played.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it looks very interesting.
It does. Well, Dorado Games returns to Kickstarter with their new project, The Old Ones of El Dorado, which mixes.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, the game mixes Euro-style mechanics with Cthulhu mythos, and it's set in Mesoamerica, and this all comes to us as some strange conglomeration of things that we all love.
yeah, exactly. It gives the very special flavor of the game when you usually you do not mix Cthulhu with a Euro game. Usually it's some monsters running around, you shoot it, you escape, whatever, and this is where you just play Euro.
Well, it's hard to imagine how you can trade with Cthulhu cultists or even build something for them, but here in this game you actually do. You have resources, and well, actually there are some standard resources, but also there are people are your resources, and sometimes you have to sacrifice them and sacrifice them for the other god.
And we are not talking the game terms. We are talking you sacrifice someone. I mean, not even in real life, but sacrifice is also a game term, right? But one of the perks of the games, you can sacrifice a worker for something. That's cool.
Yeah, not only your worker, you can also sacrifice the cultists, which will give you another bonus than sacrificing your old guy. So this one is both very thematic and well, turns out that is also mechanically very sound, because there are multi-use cards that you can use for different actions. You also, when you send your workers, because this is a worker placement game, you boost the actions by playing your cards, so another player can use both his cards, your cards, and the main board action. And this is really something that is not used very much in Euro games. Looks really, really interesting. There's a lot of interaction in the game. Players work together to build a pyramid, but well, each of them wants to build it more than the others, so there is some area majority in the game. There are some tracks, like in every good Euro game there should be. Looks really, really good, and it promises to be done in 25 minutes per player. So looks like a fast playing, snappy Euro game with a very, very interesting theme.
25 minutes per person. This is another unusual thing for Euro game.
Yeah. I mean, this one will have to be tested.
Okay. You have meeples, which I've seen the one with the Cthulhu mask on the face, some sort of a priest or something.
Yeah. Plus, the Cthulhu mythos is everywhere around the game. You build statues for your chosen god, and there are meeples of cultists. You have each player has his own two types of meeples to use from, and it looks really good.
Plus, you're building a pyramid, and I'm not saying you build a virtual pyramid. There's box atop a box atop a box, and you have 3D pyramid to build, which is very cool because the pyramids the Mayans and Aztecs built were square ones with the square base, one atop another, and it was easy to create from the cartoon or whatever they make it of.
The campaign for The Old Ones of El Dorado starts on March the 2nd, and you can find it on Kickstarter, which actually, Mieszko, you really should. Even though you're not the big Euro fan, you should really check this game out.
I'm a huge fan of Lovecraft, so I certainly will do. The link for the
perfect for
campaign
you.
will be like somewhere below the video, so please check it out. Okay, thanks guys. That'll be all. We showed you like 4 games we picked mainly because they're solo, but also they like appear to be very, very cool games. We hope to see you again. If you like what we do, please subscribe our channel, like leave a comment, or like give us a thumbs up. That'll be all. My name is Mieszko.
Yeah, I'm Mateusz. Thank you guys.
And
See you
thank you.
next time.